What's up, everyone? This is Jason here, and welcome to the Abyss Garage. So, continuing progress on the Shovelhead chopper build. Now, last time working on this bike, I was actually able to make my own set of axle spacers and adjusters. So, I took care of that on the bike, which I was kind of dreading so much, and I kind of just made myself worry unnecessarily. So, with that being taken care of, we're really starting to tighten up or close down on the fabrication side of things here, and the oil tank tray is and the shifter or the clutch release arm are pretty much like some of the last two things. I got to build a voltage regulator bracket too, but I don't really think that's too big of a deal. So I got to take care of this oil tank tray issue and make my own clutch release arm, and I think, well, should be getting close to the end here, so let's get to it. All right, so before we really start beginning on any fabrication side, let me just explain to you what's going on in a little bit more detail here. So this is an aftermarket oil tank. I should say obviously, but I went and picked up a V-twin, I believe, oil tank tray mount. And the issue I'm having here is we're hitting the frame itself in this particular spot. The other side's actually down. So I'm not sure if I should modify this tray itself to fit, because I don't like how it sits up there, but the only thing that concerns me is if by cutting this and whatnot, I'm going to obviously mess up the chrome, and then you got to worry about rust. So I'm just not sure if it's easier if I make my own just out of material I have or whatnot. So that's really going to be the biggest decision here, and then I'll figure out I have another regular stock clutch release arm that's non-chrome, so I'll probably end up chopping that one up here and doing whatever I have to do to make it fit and then clear, so that way we can keep moving along here. So let's actually get to it now. All right, so I just took the tank and tray out, obviously, as you guys just saw. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut into this brand new tray itself. But let me just show you guys, so when you're sitting this tray onto the frame itself. Now, some of you may be like, oh, you're doing it wrong or something like that. But I think what's happening is, if you see the front here, besides this not being like a straight bend, I think what's happening is because it's shouldered the whole way around, what's happening is it's sitting on top of the frame, and it's not allowing it to sit like flush onto the mount itself. And I think that's what's causing my issue of why the tank itself is jamming up, especially on the left side of the bike. So I think what I'm going to do is make a sacrifice here, spend some money to try and save time, and we're just going to modify anyway. So I'll probably end up just cutting this out and then see how it goes. And what's the worst? If it's trashed, it's trashed, and I'll just make one. All right, so in that last clip, I was cutting and grinding on this tray itself, and so what I ended up doing was just taking, because I could not trust this edge that was bent over, so I took a Sharpie and rested it on my finger up here, where I know it's flat, and I ran a line across the front, taped it off with blue painter's tape. It's easier to see chrome, the black Sharpie against that. So got that cut down. I know it's hard to tell. And then over here, I did the same thing, and especially in this section right here, I took this down even further to help clear the trans, because just sitting this in there, I still may need to trim more, but just roughly sitting it in there, we were still hitting. So I want to have proper clearance. So this will be probably the first of many test fits. So let's get this on and see what we got. We got good clearance over there on this side, which I don't think really was the problem. But over here, we were definitely having clearance issues, as you can see in the previous clip. And now we have adequate clearance. Ended up trimming a little bit more back here, since I'm not familiar with these guys pretty much, and being my first build, chopper build. I had to notch this back here on the tray. So we are clearing the top of the trans, and we clear by the skin of our teeth on the trans. So I think that's good. And the other thing is too, I'm going to have to figure out the back portion. I was kind of scratching my head here because bolt holes. So I was thinking about, you can't run a bolt up top, because you could say weld the nut up here in both spots and then put a bolt. But the bolt would be too long, and that's not realistic. So I think what I may end up doing is just getting like a J-bolt, or making a J-bolt, something that will sit around here or over top of the frame rail, and then go down, and then I can simply use a nut. I guess kind of like a battery hold down in a sense, but I think that actually went smoother than I was anticipating. So now what I'm going to see about doing is taking the clutch release lever and see if I can make that work with this foot clutch. I've actually been away from the garage for almost 3 weeks now, and before I had a break, I went and trimmed off the bottom of the oil tank tray, as you guys saw previously, and kind of left this portion up for later. And I was trying to think of ways to attach the rear portion of the tank tray itself to the frame, and this was like basically the simplest and easiest solution that I personally could come up with. And so what I did was, again, try to utilize things that I have here and do like a quality job. I feel like I had 3/8 all thread. So what I ended up doing was turning it down to smooth it out and simply heat it up. Doing this off camera for the most part, and heated this up, bent it over. And so the idea here is that we are going to use the frame itself almost like a battery tray, kind of, you would see. And it's going to drop down like this and like so, and I'll trim it up to make it look a little bit better, but just simply using a nut on either end from underneath, and that way as well it will hold the tray up, and if I have to, it'll be like semi-adjustable here, so if the tray or the tank itself has to come down a little bit, we have a little bit of room to work with. So now that this is done, what I'm going to end up doing is trying to figure out the clutch release arm, which should be the next step in trying to get like at least this section finished. I think I did quite a bit of work off camera getting the clutch release arm made up here, and I just want to show you guys. This was an extra chrome one that I had. Obviously, you guys know what they're shaped like, just a real simple basic L. And so this is actually what I end up turning out, is this guy. I mean, look at that. I mean, amazing. Even the chrome work on it is stupendous, and couldn't be happier. Now, with that being said, all jokes aside, I started making one. I ended up taking the stock style that I had, an extra piece, lopped it off, started turning it down. The thought process was here with the other 5/8 rod, ended up drilling that out a little bit. I need to get a boring bar, but the idea, the thought was to have that piece basically slide in there. That way I could weld it in place. And, you know, I really started thinking about it. I don't know as far as clearance goes and bending and squishing. So, you know, it's awesome that I've made so much on this bike. But with that being said, that piece cost me $30 to buy, and it's already chromed, and it should work. So I'm gonna take the tray off itself, put it on. But I need to, like I said before in previous videos, I need to get this bike done and finished, and I don't want to let a $30 item like that hold up the process, because if it was, say, a day or two to make, what's my labor? Just to think about it. So time is money in cases. I mean, again, I know building something here, but you know, discretion's the better part. Discretion's the better part of valor in this case. So let's get this new clutch release arm installed. Obviously, you guys saw me put this on. A bit of a pain. I guess if you do this all the time, it's probably not. But I still have clearance. It's not a lot, but I do have clearance between the this oil filter bracket here and the tank itself, which is nice in the tray. We got good clearance on that side. Come down, you can see those hooks I made. Actually, I tell you what, do me a favor. If you guys have seen that done before, let me know. I would like to hear, but I've never seen that done. I've seen, like I said, stuff welded here and whatnot, but as far as doing the hooks like that, I think it worked out pretty well. And I don't save my clips, but hopefully I did get a shot of it before where it was hitting here. And now we have clearance there, which is great. And I have clearance there now, before where I had to grind it down to fit over the trans. And this... you have play here, so everything is working like it's supposed to, or at least what I can see here. So now that that part is done, which I'm happy about, kind of a nice little hurdle to get over, I think the next thing I'm going to work on actually is trying to make a voltage regulator bracket. I know, again, you know, I could probably buy one for 20 bucks, 19 bucks, which maybe I should have done. But I figure this is a lot easier. I don't have to worry about if I have interference issues like that with the clutch rod. So bolt holes are similar to the front mount, but I'm not sure. So I think what I'm going to do is just probably imitate what I've seen done online, and I'll take some plate steel and just do a simple bend, possibly up and over, just to go there. I did think for a minute about running the voltage regulator up here, which I've seen done before, which would be pretty cool. But, you know, I think just maybe in this case, it's just best to put it down there. Just keep it simple. All right, so after some thinking, I think what I'm going to do here is what works best and easiest is I'm going to mount the voltage regulator right here. And what I'm going to do here is just take this extra flat stock I have kicking around, from, I think, the sissy bar build. But what we're going to do here is we're just going to simply bend this in the press brake onto a 90, and I'm going to just simply, what's going to happen is the mount will bolt to the engine itself up here in the front. It'll drop down, and then from there we'll just have it attached to the regulator that way. And I actually plan on doing this into 2 L-shaped brackets. I could, I guess, make one big bracket, but I'd rather have it individual. I could be wrong, but I think these may have a tendency of breaking if not shimmed properly. So I'd rather just let everything kind of just work together in unison instead of like forcing it. So I think 2 L-shaped brackets will be the easiest and best way about going, getting this whole thing done. Well, just like that, she is now one step closer to being finished. Now, obviously, it really wasn't difficult making the voltage regulator brackets, just bending up some flat stock that I had and using a transfer punch to make my marks and drill it. But it's taken care of and out of the way, and it was free. I didn't have to buy anything. And with that being said, I was able to use the V-twin oil tank tray that I had got. End up modifying it, so a little bit of work there, but I was able to use it. So while money was spent, I was able to save time and more money by modifying it. Clutch arm, obviously, I bought one, but again, back to time and money. So that's taken care of. I no longer have the clearance issues where the tank is hitting the frame, which is a really key component. And I think for that, honestly, I would say that this bike, as far as fabrication is concerned, is done. I may be missing something here or there. Obviously, I could assemble it further along, as far as putting the clutch basket back on, things like that. But I really don't think that's necessary in that case. So I think now that, like I said, this fabrication point is done, I would say it's time to break this bike back down, get the frame welded. I have the sissy bar, all that stuff that's been going on in the previous videos. We need to get that taken care of, so we'll get that all welded up. Yeah, so I think from there it'll be welding, and it's going to be body work, which is not my strong suit, but we're going to give it a go there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video on the Shovelhead chopper build. And if you guys are enjoying it, let me know down below, and I'll see you around for another video in the Abyss Garage. Take care, guys.